Welcome back to the Smugsy Show. I'm Smugsy, your host, identifying as the Barstool Cougar. Every Wednesday we meet here to talk about important things and important people. This week it's the Epiphany. An epiphany I had about the Epiphany. But first, the Smugsy Show is presented to you by Smug Ciggies, sleek and elegant joint ciggies made with organic cannabis rolled in all-natural, locally sourced paper. Look for Smug Ciggies in the pretty indigo and marigold packs. So today's January 5th, 2022. That means tomorrow's January 6th, which is a big day. Secularly religious. It's a huge holiday. It's like the Super Bowl. Of course, it's Dave Portnoy Day, a holiday declared by San Francisco's oldest restaurant, thanks to Dave Portnoy and the Barstool Fund bailing them out of a tough time last year. Kudos to the Barstool Fund. I recall doing a show about that and all the crying. A lot of crying. Liz, remember her? The Epiphany also is the 12th day of Christmas, okay? On the first day of Christmas. So today, the day before the Epiphany, would be 11 pipers piping for all you stoners. Today's your day. Tomorrow it's 12 drummers drumming. The Epiphany also refers to an idea, a sudden moment of clarity when the reality, the truth appears in your mind. I was born on the Epiphany in New York, so I'm heading to New York tomorrow. So I got to make this quick, but I did have an epiphany. And that is that another thing that happened on January 6th last year was when supporters of Donald Trump stormed the Capitol, and 5 Capitol police officers died, and over 100 people were injured. It was a scary day. And the epiphany I had is that people who continue to believe the big lie that Donald Trump is peddling about the election being stolen from him and there being fraudulent election outcomes despite every rock being unturned and showing no election fraud. Well, the people who continue to believe the big lie are likely the people who A, don't get vaccinated, and B, think leaf blowers are about workers. I know sometimes it's hard to keep up with the connections made in my mind, but keep in mind that I was born on the Epiphany and I am a visionary. So just follow along here. So these people who think leaf blowers are about workers, okay, you know what I mean when I say leaf blowers. What I'm talking about is a 2-stroke piece of equipment that guys strap on their back that emit so much pollution. If you run a leaf blower for an hour, it's like driving a car from San Francisco to Denver and back. There's so much pollution, and it causes deafness. I mean, you just look it up. It causes deafness. And let's face it, most of the time, these leaf blowers that are being used, a few little pieces of sand on a granite step, and you see these guys wind up their leaf blowers and swing it around. And the reason is because they're listening to music, and they're swinging this thing around as if it's like an air guitar, or if it's maybe like an extension of their body part, if you know what I mean. And the reason why it's not about workers is because real people who work use rakes. But they have convinced themselves that somehow they're entitled to using a leaf blower for hours and hours and hours to do the most menial tasks. And let's face it, it's a lot harder to rake. So if we're talking about work here, obviously the truth is that rakes are for workers. Rakes are for workers. Rakes are for lovers. Leaf blowers suck. That is the epiphany. And it's kind of an irony and an epiphany. Leaf blowers suck. And if you think leaf blowing is about work, then you probably think the election was stolen, and you probably didn't get vaccinated, and you're probably going to die. And so that leads me to the next epiphany, and that is that, it's survival of the fittest. And hey, we're all in this together, and some of us will come out on top. So that's my epiphany. The other epiphany I had about the upcoming year is that I think Kirk Minihane is going to unblock me. I think he is. I listened to the show today, and I don't know if he didn't mention my name, okay, or talk about the Smugsy show or how popular it is and how well it's doing, how funny, kind of insightful it is. But he did say that it was perfectly appropriate to make fun of him when he was, bawling his eyes out a couple of weeks ago, obviously referring to my show. And so I think I'm going to be unblocked, and in a spirit of coming together and just letting bygones be bygones, I unblocked Chris Clemmer. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a small person, okay? I'm a big person. Now, I'm not going to ever listen to that podcast, the one about the movies. It's obviously complete. He stole the idea from Julie and Julia, the 2009 movie, directed by Nora Ephron, starring Meryl Streep, Stanley Tucci, Amy Adams, Julie Powell, blogs about cooking, all 524 recipes of Julia Child's The Art of French Cooking cookbook, and she blogs about it, and every day she makes one of the recipes, just like Chris Clemmer thinks he's going to go to the movies. It's not going to be the same. First of all, the guy needs to have an operation on his throat, because his voice is like, I would say nails on a chalkboard. I think there's like lessons you can take for that. So I would suggest, instead of going to the movies, maybe he gargles with a little warm salt water, watches the movies on his home computer, and maybe gets a job, to support his family, maybe do something meaningful in the world. I don't know, work at a soup kitchen. There's got to be other ways for this young man to be spending his time. And my hope for him is that he'll find something better to do than going to the movie theater every day. I think that's it for today's show. Tomorrow is my birthday. I share a birthday with Joan of Arc. She was the 14th century French girl burned at the stake at the age of 19 for fighting against the English. So she and I don't expect to be burned at the stake tomorrow, but I do expect to be in the Big Apple, where, close to there is where I was born. And until next time, this is Smugsy signing off. You can find all your favorite Smugsy content at syndicatemedia.net. That's Syndicate Media with a C. Follow me on Twitter at SmugsyGirl. Leave a comment, subscribe to the show. And until next week, this is Smugsy signing off. Take care.